I want to talk about
Chiz.
Robin Williams. Robin Williams.
Okay.
So
you
really
not know that he killed himself, Woody? Was that news to you when we brought it up at the beginning of the show?
No, it wasn't news to me. I knew he hung himself. I didn't know that he used a belt. That was about, and that there was supposedly a note. That's what
So what I was told today was that there was most likely a note, because here's what the cop said in the interview. He said, we're not discussing a note, or he said, we're not discussing the note or a note at this time. And that was just like a huge context clue to me. Like, hey guys, there's a note, but we don't talk about that. So there's a note. He hung himself with a belt.
Well, hang on. It's really hard to accidentally suffocate yourself. You know what I mean? Like that's not in.
Yeah, he killed.
Right.
No one's saying it was an
okay.
accident. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was wondering.
Suicide.
Okay.
I mean, the Kill Bill guy did it.
He left a suicide note. Definitely a suicide. He hung himself with a belt, and I was told today that he had slit his wrist a few times as well.
Damn.
He's been battling depression for a long time. Like it's a kind of I guess a well-known thing for him. I didn't know it.
I had no idea.
Yeah, but all of the comic community knew that he had been depressed.
He seems like he would have a dark side to me. His comedic style is so manic, so crazy and off the wall. He's just, oh, I'm this guy, and oh, now I'm this guy, oh, and he's just like nuts.
We're leaving stuff out. He's been battling depression, cocaine, and alcoholism.
Yeah, he's been an addict, a very well-known addict. He went to rehab and everything. But he to me, I was still really surprised, and I still would have been really surprised, even if I had known that he'd been battling depression. Like he just doesn't. He was so I agree. He was really manic. He's a kooky guy, right? But he was always such a positive guy. He was always so happy. Even his dark humor. Like I don't know if you watch his stand-up. It's pretty not PG for the kind of movies and films that he's kind of been known for in the past. Yeah. So but even in consideration of that, even during that, he's still super jovial, super really positive outlook guy.
And he was a great comic, great comedian, but he was a great actor. You see him in Good Will Hunting. You see him in Good Morning Vietnam. You see him in
Flubber.
He was a horrible actor. He was the biggest piece of shit. Time out.
Have you seen? Whoa! Have you seen Good Will Hunting?
He did not make Good Will Hunting. Watch Good Will Hunting again and pay attention to Robin Williams. He was fucking shit as an actor. And if there was a movie with Robin Williams on it, it's probably bad.
I thought he was really good.
He was good in Aladdin.
When he's telling that story about his wife farting herself awake, and then the audience gets a laugh, and you get this high moment, and then he starts talking about, and then the cancer took her away, and he's just talking about this loss of his wife and this painful moment, and there's this time when Matt Damon's character says something offensive about his wife, and he gets all physical, and you're all of a sudden you're like, Robin Williams is a big guy, he whipped Matt Damon's ass, and he totally could Good Will Hunting, Robin Williams totally whips Good Will Hunting, Matt Damon's ass. I think they even have a question there where I think Matt Damon asks Williams how much he benches, and he's like, about 285. How about you? Don't worry about it. What's this book?
Yeah.
and you look at him, you're like, yeah, that guy's built. Robin Williams looked really powerful in that movie for some reason, which I'd never seen him look that way.
I look back.
I'm sorry.
Two things. I just watched filibustering here, and I'm not getting a chance to talk. Listen, one, he was a shit actor who played in a lot of shit films. It doesn't matter if we're talking about Mrs. Doubtfire. Was there a Mrs. Doubtfire 2? Maybe that's still coming out.
Not with him in it. If there was, then he wasn't in it. You know how that goes.
I think he acted it, or I don't know. I keep hearing Weekend at Mrs. Doubtfire's. There was a Flubber. Was there a Flubber too? I forget.
It was a kids movie, man. You can't throw that in there.
If Robin Williams is in a movie, it's probably him doing his signature sort of, Zany,
that'd be like if we're talking about Vin Diesel.
So it's the same shit again and again and again. The guy had one character that he milked since Mork and Mindy. That's the first thing. And his comedy wasn't funny because again,
all the viewers are going to get that reference.
He had so many accents he could do, so many impressions. He could do every nationality. His John Wayne was great. He had all these bits, lots of comedy, years worth of work, several specials.
No one gives a shit about accents. No one says Kevin Spacey's
an
amazing actor because he does accents. He did tons of children's films, and they all suck. And then there's another thing that I'm not getting out because
Robin Williams he's good in a different reason, for different reasons. You're not going to compare Robin Williams as an analog to Gary Oldman, right? Gary Oldman's a brilliant actor for a different set of reasons for why Robin Williams was a brilliant actor.
This talking about Robin Williams is not going the direction I thought it would. I thought it was going to be oh man, I'm really sad about this. This is the first celebrity. that's
I
made
got
me
more.
sad. I see him die, but
I got
Woody's
more.
just like overrated.
Overrated,
sad
but
when
that's not
celebrities
my
die?
primary point. Shut the fuck up. My primary point, I'm not that mad, but my primary point is this. Everyone is celebrating this guy in reaction to him killing himself. No one was talking about him 4 days ago, right? But now that he killed himself, memorials are popping up. They're loving this guy. They're watching Netflix marathons. Movie theaters are playing his shit movies for free. And everyone...
Look, it comes from the same psychology. It came from the same psychology of silent minority, though. I mean, it's when things are good, when you're happy, when there's nothing bad going on, you don't have a reason to come out and start talking. When something bad happens, you come out and have a reason to start talking. And of course,
people have on the edge of suicide, they should hear this. You will not be celebrated like Robin Williams. If someone out there is thinking to themselves and they're on the ledge, what we're doing for Robin Williams is not what we should be doing. Fuck Robin Williams. And that's the core of where I'm coming from. Fuck this guy who killed himself. You know, if he had died of natural causes, if he had wanted to live and didn't, like I don't know, Patrick Swayze or any normal person, then I wouldn't be ripping on him. I wouldn't be saying any of this.
You're not nearly as hard on Heath Ledger because you liked Batman.
Because Robin Williams killed himself, I am not interested in turning this guy into some kind of national hero. He was a national treasure. He killed himself, guys. And there are other people who I swear are going to follow in his footsteps. And I'm not interested in that happening. Fuck this guy. Don't kill yourself. That's one of my biggest he hung himself and possibly split his list and no, dude, fight your demons. It'll get better.
I don't see it. I don't see it as black. I respectfully disagree. I don't see it as black and white as that, Woody. I think that, for example, all the attention that the media is giving it now is actually going to have another positive effect on calling more attention to the issue of depression, the issue of so many people who are affected by it. I was one of the people who didn't, and still am in a lot of ways, didn't truly really understand what depression's about, right? And the reality is if somebody like Robin Williams, who's just loved and respected worldwide, Robin Williams I can't imagine he really had haters in the way that Justin Bieber has haters.
Listen
right?
to me. So listen for a second. I've been depressed and I've tried to kill myself before, and I know the psychology that goes into it for at least some people. And there is a certain, they'll love me when I'm gone. They'll miss me. They'll appreciate the good parts of me. There's a certain...
wish they paid attention while I'm still here.
There's a certain I'll show them aspect to the act of suicide. And what we're doing with Robin Williams and celebrating what a national treasure he was, fuck that. No, dude. Robin Williams tried to kill himself, and I'm done with him. And the reason that I'm done with him is that I don't want you, whoever's watching this, to try and kill themselves too. And by the way, you are not going to get Robin Williams treatment. There are going to be people who love you, who call you someone who took the coward's way out. There are going to be people in your life who are like, fuck that guy. I'm so upset with him because now I don't have him anymore. And he did that to me on purpose. And then there will be people who are genuinely hurt that you're gone. But no one is going to give you the Robin Williams treatment. They're just going to be upset that you did this.
I really don't. I kind of disagree with both of you guys a little bit in that I don't think it's going to spark a very good conversation, maybe a little bit on suicide and depression and issues like that. But this is something that's happened 1,000 times before, and people will give a shit for 4 days, maybe a few more because it's someone famous, then they'll forget about it. And I also don't think it's going to cause anyone to kill themselves who otherwise wouldn't have. If it's not going to get somebody who's like, you know what, this week sucked. Robin Williams got a bunch of accolades. I'm going to try this.
It's not going to do that.
What it is going to do, though, is continue to propagate this victim culture that we have in the United States, where everybody wants to be a victim because it doesn't matter why you're victimized or if you truly are. It's just you want people to feel bad for you. And so people are going to see this as another way of like, yeah, I'm just like Robin Williams. I feel like that all the time. And people are just fishing for attention and using it selfishly. And so I think we'll see that more than anything.
All right, so here's where I stand on this whole thing. I think that there will be a little bit of positives that come out of this thing. I think that suicide and depression are going to... Someone will do a special on it. I can imagine there'll be some ABC special about Robin Williams. It'll be an hour long where they'll sit down and talk about him. And
maybe a fundraiser or two.
And yeah, some stuff like that. Yeah, very much so. There could easily be a fundraiser, like we joke.
Yeah, I
totally.
hope not. I could just see a fundraiser kissing his ass for an hour.
You got your turn.
Okay.
Simmer, motherfucker. All right, so look, I don't think anyone's going to hurt themselves because Robin Williams did it. Nobody's going, well, the genie did it. I might as well. Nobody is doing that. I don't think. I think it might even prevent a suicide or two when people see the pain that maybe this has caused. I'd like to see his family on TV crying. Maybe that'd help keep some people from hurting themselves. But I think that Robin Williams was an excellent comedian. I think he's top 5%, top 10%. I think he was an excellent actor for the comedic films he did. I really enjoyed Good Morning Vietnam. I really enjoyed, was it The Fisher King, maybe? And Good Will Hunting, and
Dead Poets
he has
Society.
one where he goes
a bunch of other boring shit.
I didn't care for that one. But my point is, I feel like he was a very talented guy. He could do a lot of things to entertain people, and I liked him. But it's a real shame that he killed himself. But I'm with you, a little, Woody, in the fact that I'm like, let's not just spend all day going, woe is me, and feeling sorry for this guy. Like, there's a quote, and it's getting passed around a lot right now. It's on Vine. It's a big Vine. And it's a quote from Robin Williams. It's an anti-suicide.
Is it that temporary solution or permanent?
Well, it was in a movie.
Temporary solution.
Everyone
did he?
says that.
It looks like he's on a talk show.
I thought he said it in a movie.
Well, it looks to me like he's on like Geraldo or something.
What
like
was the quote?
He said,
no, it is for a movie. I've seen the movie, actually.
It's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And I swear I've heard that
movie,
so many times in so many places. I'm not sure we can attribute it to him.
You know what people say all the time when the survivors of suicide attempts, especially the ones who really pulled the trigger, for lack of a better word, the ones who shoot themselves and they live, the ones who jump off a bridge and they make it. They always say, the doers, not the thinkers. The people who jump off that bridge and survive, they say, as soon as I left that railing, I immediately regretted my decision and completely wanted to live. And that's all I was thinking about on the way down to the water. They almost always say that. Now, the reason for that is because the ones who didn't say that went back up and jumped off the bridge a second time, first of all. They finished themselves off.
I never thought about that.
Right? But there's this guy in my hometown who, maybe he's dead because I haven't seen him in 10 years. But when I was a kid, he was always walking around town, which is unusual because it's a community where if you want to get around, you really need a car. This isn't a sprawling metropolis where I am. And he walked. So, and I asked my mom one day, I'm like, who's that guy? What's his deal? Because he's got an eye patch and he looks all weird. And she's like, well, he's my age. I went to high school with him. This girl left him that he loved, and he tried to shoot himself in the temple, but he was too close to the eye socket. So the bullet went in there, blew his eyeball out, and exited his skull from that point. And it didn't do any brain damage, but it made him hideous, one-eyed, no longer suicidal version of him. And in my opinion, losing the girl, not worth killing yourself over. Losing the eye and, like, I don't know, an eighth of your face, pretty good reason to kill yourself.
Yeah, you could live in seclusion for a while or get a, cool hockey mask. There are a lot of solutions.
I'm sorry. I'm pretty good, but I don't think I could get many girls with, like, an eighth of my face, including one of my eyes gone and the eye patch. And he couldn't rock the eye patch either.
Have you seen those really 85-year-olds with sexy young chicks? You have a wallet, dude. That's what you need.
That's all you need.
You can have no eyes, but if you pull up with a driver and a Lamborghini, you'll find your way.
Look, just because you see a woman with a guy doesn't mean he's got that girl. It means he's entertaining that girl.
Well, yeah, but he's entertaining.
You see those 80-year-old guys with these 20-year-old chicks? I hear those girls and those guys interviewed all the time on shows like Howard Stern, and they're like, so did you sleep with him? They're like, no, he just took care of me, and I sat in his car when we went places. Like, that's how those situations usually go.
They're probably not admitting it because they don't want to feel like whores, because they are.
Most of them.
Yeah, technically they do have sex for money, if that's the case. So most people watching this know my story. I tried to hang myself, and then the thing I was hanging from broke. And my immediate reaction was not like, oh no, I shouldn't have done this. It was, oh fuck, I can't even do this right. Like
right?
That was
it's really insensitive to say that, but it's how I always feel about quote unquote attempted suicide. In the back of my head, it's not a moment to make this joke, of course, but in the back of my head, I think to myself, so things were going so badly. You thought so little of yourself that you wanted to end it all, and you couldn't even get that right.
Yeah, that was my self-appraisal. And
that's in the back of my head. But of course you'd never say that, because what you're really feeling is dude, we want you here. Don't do that, man. Permanent solution, temporary problem, etc. What was your cordage of choice? What was the thing wrapped around your neck?
It was a dog leash. And so the dog leash has a hook on one end, and then I just looped it through like the handle part, and I put the hook on in our bathroom. We had a skylight, so I don't know if you've ever had a skylight, but you like attach a little rod to it and sort of spin it to make it go up and down. And that
exactly.
Okay, yeah, that little hook is what I attached it to, and it seemed sturdy. It was like imagine a 1/2-inch thick bolt. It screwed on to something that size. But I guess the thread stripped away or something because it was too heavy. Like, I wasn't fat or anything.
So
150.
So I think we've all expressed
our 17.
So you think we're done with Robin Williams?
I loved Flubber in his movies. I think he's hilarious. I mean, you can't compare him to his acting to. I mean, he wasn't like the best person in Good Will Hunting just because he's not an actor like,
Dude, I thought he did just fine across from Matt Damon. I thought.
He's good though.
He's very good. It wasn't an Oscar-winning performance.
I think you nailed it.
But
I think he got an Academy Award for it. But I think Just Fine is an apt description of his best role ever. Just Fine. And if we're going to wrap up with the Robin Williams topic, here's my take. Don't kill yourself. People are not going to treasure you in the way they did Robin Williams. They're going to be mad at you.
Not unless you have a life like his, maybe. You go out there and do the things Robin Williams did, and they might, but don't kill yourself before you've at least made a mark on the world. That's the key to take away from all this. Go out there, do something big, make your mark on the world, and then kill yourself if you want.
Were you really hedging Woody's "don't kill yourself" advice with just like exceptions and maybe if things?
Yeah, totally.
No, well, I mean, yeah, it is really. This is the first celebrity that died that I really actually is kind of like, wow, that sucks, because I really liked all those movies.
He was young as well.
I was out Aladdin when I was growing up. Loved it.
Yeah, big fan of Aladdin. That was one of the movies that I heard them talking about that on the radio. They were like, that was the first time that Disney went out and got themselves like a real celebrity to voice a character, and it actually got adults in there watching the movies and stuff.
Yeah, it was funny.
I liked it.
So this is the first celebrity you've ever missed as they left?
Patrice O'Neal. I was like, oh, that really sucks. I
you
didn't
knew
like
he
that.
was going.
So
I felt bad. I felt bad about Tony Soprano. What's his name?
Gandolfini.
Yeah, James Gandolfini. I didn't like that because I always had these. So my reasons for missing celebrities are always very selfish because I don't know these motherfuckers, right?
We all are.
You don't know them. Like, I don't have any personal relationship with you. They're never gonna be like, hey, Kyle, I love how you watch my movies. They're never gonna say that. At best, I might see them somewhere and get to say, hey, I love to watch your movies, and they don't give a shit. So when we lost James Gandolfini, for example, I was like, shit, they'll never make that Sopranos movie. They'll never make that final season where HBO ponies up and pays him $30 million for another season, and we get to see him on my idea for that, and I've said it before, is the screen goes black final episode. Open it back up. It was all a dream for the last 8 episodes. Tony's on the run from the United States authorities. He's got to go to Russia and get his money that he's hidden there. Then he's got to bounce across maybe to the old country in Italy with some old school real Italian gangsters or something.
His dream thing is so cringy and bad,
I hate
though.
The dream
okay,
thing.
it doesn't have to be the dream. Okay, maybe he does get shot. All right, how about this?
He wakes up in the emergency room.
Comes out his eye socket.
He wakes up in the emergency room. They're giving him CPR. He's scared to death, and now we see him on the run without the power he used to have, trying to regain his former position by seeing
he's
who
in a
turned
coma.
on him.
How about this one?
A coma for years, and then the whole series is just 3 seasons of grueling physical labor trying to get back on top. Really training. They just
lots of montages.
Rocky.
Of him really trying to
Lots
walk.
of cannoli.
I want to see him with maybe one other friend who's still sticking by him as he tries to regain his position as a top guy.
And it's a black coach. Come on!
It would probably
yelling for him.
If he had one person that was going to stick with him through it all, it'd probably be Silvio Dante, the guy who owned the strip club with the slick back black hair. Paulie, the guy with the wings in his hair. He's totally like he's done it multiple times. He'll run right out on you if the ship's sinking.